Did it all begin? Well, it began with a big bang. And we want to know if it's changing, if the universe is going to come to an end. And cosmologists have observed that at some time in the distant past, the universe was extremely compact, small, and unimaginably dense. Modern satellites can look back in time almost to the very beginning of the universe. The observations show that the universe began its expansion about 14 billion years ago. Time and space began 14 billion years ago. And we all know this famous song, Bare Naked Ladies. I won't sing it for you. I'd hurt your ears. So here's a little timeline, and it kind of shows overall how it expanded, and it still is expanding. So it started from this big explosion. There was a super fast inflation at time 10 to the negative 43 seconds. If you remember, I showed you what that exponent is. It's moving the decimal place 43 times to the left. So teeny, teeny, tiny. How that's at the point of the explosion. So it expanded from the size of an atom to that of a grapefruit in a tiny fraction. Then at 10 to the negative 32 seconds, so barely any time had passed, and the temperature, look how high it is, 10 to the 27, so that's now moving the decimal to the right 27 times. So the universe was a seething hot soup of electrons, quarks, and other particles. And at 10 to the negative 6 seconds, it was cooling. Now it's 10 to the 13 degrees Celsius. So it permitted quarks to clump into protons and neutrons. Those were created. After 3 minutes, now the temperature is 10 to the 8. But it's still too hot to form atoms. Charged electrons and protons prevent light from shining. The universe is a super hot fog. Then jump ahead to 300,000 years, and now the universe is 10,000 degrees Celsius, still very hot. Still very hot. Electrons combine with protons and neutrons to form atoms, mostly hydrogen and helium, and light can finally shine. A billion years into the Earth's birth, it is now negative 200 degrees Celsius. So gravity makes hydrogen and helium gas combine to form the giant clouds that will become galaxies. Smaller clumps of gas collapse to form the first stars. And then 15 billion years, now it is minus 270 degrees Celsius. The galaxies cluster together under gravity. The first stars die and spew out heavy elements into space, which will eventually turn into new stars and planets. And then we're at present day. So it is still expanding. They say at one point it's going to stop and then contract in itself, and then it'll come back to a teeny tiny point again, just like it began. So again, this is just a theory, and it was started by Sir Fred Hoyle, who coined the term Big Bang. And he coined it as an insulting term because he did not believe that evidence for the theory was very strong. There is now convincing evidence that the Big Bang may have actually occurred. Some evidence such that scientists have confirmed the expansion of the universe with their observations of very large distances. They can look at light from galaxies very far away, and that gives us a view into the past and confirms the age of the universe. They observe what's called radiation from the Big Bang, called cosmic microwave background radiation. And there's a little video if you want to find that video and take a look at it, and it'll explain things to you somewhat. So, speaking of galaxies, what is a galaxy? It's a huge collection of gas, dust, and hundreds of billions of stars. And the galaxy that our solar system belongs to is called the Milky Way, because it looks like spilt milk. It's in your textbook on page 361. You can take a look at it. And it contains at least not 400 billion trillion stars, a disk shaped with our sun near the end, bulges in the middle with many stars with ribbons or arms that curve around the bulge, and it's called a spiral galaxy. The next closest galaxy to us is, well, one of the closest ones is called Andromeda. We now know there's as many galaxies as there are stars in the Milky Way, and there are different shapes. Spiral, elliptical, and irregular are some of them. And here's a picture to show you what they look like. So this is ours right here. So we are on the local spiral arm of the Milky Way galaxy.